The Dallas Cowboys have added Brandon Cooks, and he's already showing up big time when it comes to OTAs, but he's also teaching young wide receiver Jalen Tolbert. What do we know about this?
Well, in the case of Tolbert, he needs all the help he can get, and that's not an insult. It's just true. That was a real struggle last year. And I think he's a character guy, and I think he's very earnest. He also is a guy that spent most of his life playing baseball, not football. So for him to get immersed and to get a big brother in Brandon Cooks, who has done this at a very high level for a pretty long time, 1,000 yards almost every year, that is really a perfect match. And they do the same thing, by the way, on defense here with Gilmore coming in, who is kind of the Cooks of the defense. Not a coincidence that the two of those guys, faith-based and best friends from the days when they played with the Patriots. If you're a young cornerback here, Eric Scott Jr. would be on that list. You'd be wise to kind of let him Pied Piper you around. So the Cowboys are getting double value from adding Cooks and Gilmore. They're not only getting good players, they're also getting leaders and teachers and mentors and big brothers for the kids.
Wins all around. Let's talk about how the Cowboys plan on signing their 4 big stars.
It seems like it's a mountain to climb.
It does seem like it's a mountain to climb.
And if you do it the Jones way, because they like to talk about the pie. And so whether you make it an apple pie or a pizza pie, pizza sounds better right now to me. There's only so much pie to go around. Now, we've talked before about pushing money to the future and using a credit card and that kind of thing. But to make their illustration simple, they've got this big a pie and they have a specific plan for each guy. When they sign Dak, and I think that's coming soon, that will actually grow the pie. And again, I'm not a mathematician.
But went from medium to extra large.
If you go to extra large, then there's more pie. And so the Dak contract will open up room, and that's part of the plan that will eventually, sooner rather than later, on Lamb and Diggs, a little bit later on Micah. But then somewhere in this conversation, Jerry Jones brought up Tony Pollard, and he brought him up unsolicited. Because Tony Pollard's at $10 million and he's under contract, and it seems like a lot, and there's not a promise of his future here, which I think maybe has changed. I think the fact that they didn't draft a running back high.
It's telling.
I think that might have been telling, yes. And so get Tony in there and then get Terrence Steele in there. It's doable. They believe it's doable. And the pie, once it's grown, the pizza pie, would you say?
From medium to extra
large? Upsell me.
Yeah.
I just wanted a medium, but now I'll take an extra large.
And the Cowboys are hoping it's a Supreme pizza.
Supreme, which is it? And
that's the one that has all the toppings.
All right, and we might as well go with thick crust while we're at it.
Stuffed.
It gets you more stuff. The Cowboys contractually are going to be able to do all these guys because they have plenty, eventually, of stuff.
Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is fired up about his defense. He has plenty of reasons to be. But what's one reason you feel that he has a reason to be fired up?
Yeah, and he used the term leveled up. And I had to go kind of look that up. What does that mean?
Leveled up?
Yeah.
That means you just keep getting better, almost like a video game.
I do think it's like a video game. Or a board game or whatever. Dan Quinn's almost my age, so you can call it a video game. We're going to call it a board game.
I don't know. Dan Quinn wears his hat backwards.
He does.
That knocks off 10 years.
But that is the origin of it. Is I'm moving up levels as a player. Okay. As a game player. It's got to be, part of the thing has got to be Micah Parsons. Who, of course,
could be Micah Quinn at this point.
Yeah, that's how attached at the hip those two guys are. But I think it's also about depth. Look around, and this is a league where depth is difficult to achieve.
In the video. You're just sitting in
Hey!
It's okay, you can make it in it.
Maybe you can learn something.
Nose or something.
In the long version, that's staying in. And any other hooting you have to do over there.
For sure.
Look at position group by position group. That they have depth to some degree at cornerback. They absolutely have depth at safety, where they have 3 good starters. They have depth at defensive end, where you got to go way down there to get to. Sam Williams is like, I think I can get 10 sacks. You're going to have to get a lot of snaps and jump ahead guys to do that. Good for you. And then defensive tackle, they think they're developing that kind of thing. So you start with Micah Parsons at the top, and then it's a it's a pyramid of depth, and I think that's one of the reasons that the Cowboys, they'll be able to endure a stumble, they'll be able to endure an injury. I think whatever leveling up means to you kids, I think that's what Dan Quinn's talking about.
It's like on Mario. After you beat a level, it went bloop.
Mario.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I heard that in the kids' room when they were Mario. I didn't know who was talking. I didn't know what it means, and I still don't know what it means.
You did great. Who might be a bounce back player for the Dallas Cowboys this year? Maybe somebody who didn't have a great last season, but could have a wonderful 2023.
The easy and obvious answer is Dak.
Yeah, that is easy and obvious.
Because when we talk about, and when he talks about, I'll never have that many interceptions again, I'm like, you better not. You couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly again in 12 games have 15 interceptions. I'm not very good at math again, but whatever that works out to 17 games, that's a lot. I think Dak Prescott's going to be close to 5,000 yards passing, and I think he might be close to 40 touchdowns. Wow. And if the Cowboys are good, and they should be, then he's an MVP candidate. So that's a bounce back. We're not talking about comeback, right?
Bounce back.
Yeah. Damar Hamlin in Buffalo is the comeback player of the year.
Yes.
And there's nothing that anybody could do about it.
We're hoping.
I could make some joke about somebody who's retired or even further away from playing than that. But I mean, Roger Staubach could come back to the Cowboys and play quarterback.
Right.
And he might not beat out Damar Hamlin.
Yes.
But bounce back, Dak's a good name. And then here's one, and I understand why he's getting forgotten, because the Cowboys are still doing their shuffle on the offensive line. I have bad news for the defensive lineman that lines up against Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
Just because he's not what he was 4 years ago doesn't mean he isn't what he is. Tyron Smith is a great guy. He is a bad man. He's still bigger and stronger, and
you can find him on the practice field at any time. It's like, oh, there he is.
And he's bigger than you. He's stronger than you. He's more agile than you. He's more experienced than you. He's smarter than you.
Yeah.
He's more determined than you. You want to put him at right tackle? Fine. You want to put him at left tackle? Fine. You want to make the mistake of having him be the swing tackle? I don't get it. Dumb, but so not fine. But Tyron Smith is still, and he did it out here in the Underwear Olympics in t-shirts and shorts. He's pass blocking, and he just can't help it. He's punching you, and he's leaving a bruise on your chest.
Right.
The idea that Tyron Smith is washed, as the kids say, or the fact that he generously said, I'll take $3 million to come back. I don't care. I love the Joneses. I love the Cowboys. Let's go do it one time. He's not a $3 million player. He's still a $16 million player, I think, and I bet you he proves it this year.
Ooh, I love that. The Cowboys are on their own until training camp in Oxnard. Now, what do we know about what the Cowboys players will be doing from now until then? I know you and I definitely have our eyes on Dak Prescott's backyard to see who's coming out for some practices, showing up on Instagram, that sort of thing.
The Dak yard is fun, and it's important. And I'm surprised more team leaders with money, quarterbacks would be a good idea, don't do that. Just, listen, we don't have to go to California to train. Just come on over.
Yeah, Prosper's also really big on a lot of space out there.
Right,
so.
and it's all right. If Prosper Frisco, it's all right here, as you well know, and you may know it as well. The biggest thing for every team, and the Cowboys get killed on this, but it's the Cowboys, and there's numbers that show this. The guys that get in trouble, or guys that have a spotty history, or guys who get arrested, the Cowboys are the same as the Bengals and the Broncos and the Bucks and the Bills. They are exactly the same. But it's America's team. The profile is higher.
Yeah.
That is the number one thing that NFL general managers, coaches, scouting people, owners, and teammates are concerned about during this period now between when we go to training camp, which we broke the story, July 24th is reporting day for the Cowboys, and then the glory hole press conference coming shortly after that. And we'll be out there in Oxnard, Bree and myself.
I'll be week 2.
There we go. Don't get in trouble. And I don't say this as a way of, I'm not making fun or belittling the 25-year-old athlete or the 20-year-old athlete and the 30-year-old